You're nothing but a dirty mop girl. Know your place." The words cut sharper than the hot coffee the manager deliberately spills on the floor. "Clean it. That's all you people are good for." Elsa, young, black, and unshaken on the surface, kneeled silently. The executives gathered nearby burst into laughter, their suits gleaming, their eyes dismissive. She keeps her head down, but fire burns in her gaze. Patricia Holden, operations director, smirks like a queen, addressing a servant. "Maybe if you scrub real hard, one day you'll make it to the mailroom, though I doubt it." The room explodes in laughter again. Patricia leans toward a colleague, her whisper sharp enough to slice air. "These diversity hires from the projects never last long. They think she's broken." They don't see the phone sliding into Elsa's pocket, voice recorder on, her eyes catching the reflection of the security camera. For one fleeting second, Elsa looks straight at the lens. "What would you do if this happened to you at work?" the camera seems to ask. Little do they know, the cleaner kneeling on the marble floor isn't just scrubbing stains. She's scrubbing out lies, documenting every moment. 3 days earlier, in a mahogany-paneled office high above Chicago's skyline, Marcus Johnson slid a thick folder across his desk. 17 complaints in the past year, dismissed by HR. "If their culture is rotten, I won't buy Vertex no matter how good their tech is." Elsa didn't hesitate. Fresh from her Harvard MBA in corporate ethics, she leaned forward, calm and razor-sharp. "I'll get you the evidence, Dad." No one notices the cleaners. It's now disguised under the name tag Lisa Jenkins. She walks through the gleaming glass doors of Vertex Technologies at precisely 7:30 a.m. The green V logo glows like a blade against the skyline. The HR clerk barely looks up. "Executive floor needs coverage. Clean or quit. Just don't get in anyone's way." Patricia Holden takes over the orientation, her tone sugar-coated with disdain. "Bathrooms hourly, offices daily. Oh, and you're on the 6 a.m. shift. I assume early mornings work for you people." Elsa smiles faintly, tucking the insult away with the rest of her evidence. By noon, she's already documented 3 racist remarks, each one typed into her encrypted app with exact timestamps. When Patricia thinks no one is listening, her voice drips from her office door. "These diversity quotas are killing efficiency. We're lowering standards just to check boxes." Click. Recorded. That evening, a text from Marcus. "Board meeting moved up. You've got 30 days, not 90. Day 5. Elsa wheels her cart into a conference room mid-meeting. Executives ignore her like she's furniture. Patricia clicks through slides. "Our new infrastructure upgrade will increase efficiency by 17% with a cost-benefit ratio of 2.3. Elsa mutters under her breath as she dumps trash into a bag. Wrong. It's 3.7. Thomas Chen, a junior exec, snaps his head up. Shock flickers across his face. He double-checks on his tablet. She's right, Patricia notices. "Is there a problem with the cleaning staff, Mr. Chen?" She cuts venom sharp. Eyes turn. Elsa freezes. Thomas starts. "Actually, if you have time to eavesdrop, you're not working hard enough." Patricia cuts him off. "Executive discussions are beyond your comprehension anyway." Elsa bows her head, voice soft. "Apologies, ma'am." She keeps moving, bagging trash. Patricia raises her voice for the room. "Some people should stick to the jobs they're actually qualified for." Executives squirm, silent. Elsa keeps cleaning, but the fire in her eyes unmistakable. Later, Thomas finds her by a window, his voice low. "Hey, about earlier, you were right? The numbers I checked?" Elsa doesn't look up, just wipes glass, her voice barely a whisper. "I'm used to it." But in her mind, one more word flashes like neon across her growing evidence file. "Gotcha. Just something I heard somewhere?" Elsa shrugs, feigning innocence. "No big deal." "I could report her behavior to HR," Thomas offers, his voice low but earnest. "That was inappropriate." Elsa's reply is instant, urgent. "Please don't. I need this job." When he leaves, her mask drops. She pulls out her phone, thumbs flying as she logs every detail. The names of executives who sat silent. The look in their eyes, the weight of their silence. It's not just one insult anymore. It's a pattern, and she's building the case piece by piece. That night, her inbox pings. Patricia's email mandatory attendance at next Friday's company gala. Every employee, even support staff. Second note arrives for a cleaning crew. You'll be working the event. No overtime authorized. Elsa forwards the email to her secure contact with a 2-word message. Perfect opportunity. The gala, Vertex's sterile lobby, transformed into a golden cathedral of corporate triumph. Crystal chandeliers glitter like captured stars. Executives in black tie toast their brilliance. Champagne flowing to celebrate the new government contract. Elsa moves like a ghost through the crowd, tray balanced, gray uniform blending her into invisibility. Only when she saves a stumbling executive from spilling red wine all over a key investor does anyone even notice. Perhaps some water, sir, she murmurs, guiding him smoothly to a server with sparkling water. The investor, impressed, turns to Patricia. Your staff is remarkably well trained. Patricia's diamond earrings flash as her smile tightens into steel. Yes, well, basic competence is the minimum expectation. 20 minutes later, Patricia makes her move. She accidentally collides with a server. Red wine splashes across her cream Valentino dress. You clumsy girl. Patricia's shriek cuts through the gala. Her eyes lock on Elsa. 3 feet away, nowhere near the spill. All heads turn. Elsa calmly sets down her tray, napkins in hand. I'm so sorry, ma'am. Let me help. Patricia seizes the moment, her voice rising like a blade. This is why we shouldn't hire from certain neighborhoods. No attention to detail. Maybe if you'd finished high school, you'd have better job options. The room freezes. Conversations stop mid-sentence. Guests stare. William Barnes frowns from across the floor. Thomas starts forward, only to be stopped by a colleague's hand on his arm. Elsa's hands remain steady as she blots the stain. Her face stays composed, but humiliation sears her chest. Then Patricia grips Elsa's wrist, yanking her into the spotlight. Since you've ruined the evening, explain yourself to everyone. Tell these fine people your background and qualifications. Elsa's voice is barely above a whisper. I'm just trying to do my job, ma'am. Patricia smirks, triumphant. See, not even articulate enough to defend herself. This, she gestures broadly, is what happens when companies value diversity quotas over real qualifications. The silence is deafening. Elsa bows out, her steps measured, her back unbroken. Inside the restroom stall, she lets her trembling hands reveal the truth. Her phone uploads the audio recording to the secure cloud. Evidence logged. Message pings her screen. Got it all? Enough to proceed? Her reply? Not yet. Need a pattern? More employees. More proof. 3 deep breaths. She fixes her uniform in the mirror, neutral mask on. She walks back into the gala. William Barnes watches her return, his expression unreadable. That night, in her tiny studio apartment, Elsa sits cross-legged on the floor. Evidence sprawls around her like a war map. Her laptop glows with color-coded spreadsheets, dates, times, witnesses. The incident counter reads 27. She rubs her eyes, exhaustion clawing at her. The sting of Patricia's public humiliation still fresh. But humiliation has become fuel. On her screen, the pattern sharpens. 5 other employees of color, each denied opportunity, each belittled, each dismissed. Different faces, same story. Her mind drifts back to her father in that mahogany office. Hands clasped behind his back, Chicago skyline stretching out like an empire. Vertex's tech is years ahead. But I won't acquire a company poisoned by its own culture, Marcus had said, sliding her the folder. High turnover, complaints vanished, minorities gone within months. Now, Elsa secures her apartment door and initiates an encrypted video call. Marcus's face fills the screen, worry in his eyes. It's worse than we thought, she begins. The discrimination comes straight from operations leadership, possibly with the CEO's tacit approval. Marcus leans forward. Do you have enough for legal action? Elsa clicks her files open. Almost 17 incidents directed at me, 5 others targeted. But I need one more thing, proof the executives know. Proof they're not just looking away, but complicit. They discuss legal strategy late into the night. Marcus warns her plainly. Our interest in Vertex is now public. They sniff out who you are, they'll cry corporate espionage. Be careful. After ending the call, Elsa stands before a framed photograph of her grandmother, black and white, jaw set in defiance, caught mid-March in the 1960s as police with batons bore down. Elsa touches the glass gently. This isn't just about business, she whispers. It's about justice. The next morning, before the office hums awake, Elsa polishes the executive wing. Through Patricia's half-open door, voices carry. I know James has the technical qualifications, Patricia says smoothly, referring to the black IT specialist Elsa has watched pour himself into the company's security protocols. But he's just not executive material. Barnes hesitates. His performance metrics are excellent. Trust me, Patricia cuts in, voice dripping authority. He wouldn't fit with the leadership culture. A pause. Then Barnes sighs resigned, complicit. All right. Elsa's jaw tightens, another name on the growing list. At lunch, she finds James at his workstation. I'm just the cleaner, she says softly, but I see everything. Something in her tone makes him look up. If you're experiencing discrimination, she adds, sliding him a card, document it. Patricia's shadow falls across them as Elsa turns to leave. My office narrowed. Now, inside the glass wall domain. Patricia doesn't offer her a chair. Why were you talking to James in IT yesterday? Elsa keeps her posture submissive. Asked about server room cleaning schedules, ma'am. The lie slides out smooth. Tricia studies her like a predator weighing prey. Finally, from now on, basement storage. Executive floor requires discretion. A new schedule slides across the desk. The basement is a graveyard. Dust-choked shelves, flickering bulbs, towers of outdated equipment. Elsa cleans deliberately, all the while scanning.
Ow.
In a back corner, cardboard boxes marked scheduled for shredding. Her pulse quickens. At lunch, alone, she pries them open. Personnel files. Qualified candidates of color rejected with vague scrawls. Not a culture fit. Communication concerns. Discrimination complaints stamped resolved with no action visible. Elsa photographs everything, fingers trembling. The basement door creaks. She slams the files shut, grabs her rag. Thomas Chen steps inside, troubled. Thought I'd find you here. His voice lowers. Patricia asked HR to review your application. Says you falsified experience. She's building a case to fire you. Elsa keeps her cover. I filled out the agency forms truthfully. She's targeting you, Thomas insists. It's like she targeted me. He hesitates then. I've been documenting her too. Twice I was passed over, outperformed everyone. Both roles went to less experienced white men. Elsa studies him, careful. How long has this been happening? Years. Most people just conform or leave. The next day, Patricia corners Elsa in the break room. I've been watching you, she announces loudly. Other cleaners, mostly people of color, freeze, mid-bite. You seem very interested in company business for someone who just pushes a mop. She slaps down a revised schedule. Your hours are cut. Finish twice the work in half the time. No one meets Elsa's eyes. Later, an older cleaner whispers while passing. Her in the hall. She does this to all of us. Now, nobody lasts here more than a few months. Elsa adds their voices to her growing evidence file, her calendar. Day 20 of 30. An email pings her phone. Meeting request. William Barnes and Patricia Holden, with legal subject, Johnson Enterprises, acquisition talks. Rumors ignite through Vertex. In break rooms, in corners, in whispers. Johnson Enterprises is coming. Some voices hopeful, others fearful. Patricia sweeps the executive floor like a general before battle, summoning department heads. We need to prepare for due diligence, she snaps, pacing before the conference room screen. Johnson's team will want access to everything financials, personnel files, metrics. Her eyes gleamed cold. We need a thorough cleaning of company records. Organize, optimize, focus on positive outcomes. An HR manager nervously raises a hand, cleaning, as in Patricia smirks. Use your imagination, David. Then, voice lowering, but not low enough. And I want certain employees temporarily reassigned during Johnson's visit. We put our best face forward. You know who I mean? From the corner, Elsa silently changes a trash liner, recording every word. We need to put our best face forward. You know which employees I mean. William Barnes frowns, shifting uncomfortably. We can't just hide problems. Johnson Enterprises has a reputation for prioritizing diverse workplaces. It's their brand. Patricia waves him off like a child. That's just PR fluff. When real money's on the line, Marcus Johnson won't care about a few disgruntled staffers. Later, when the executive floor empties for lunch, Elsa slips into Patricia's office. On the polished desk, a neat stack of printed emails. Her pulse spikes as she skims them, years of manipulated performance reviews. Glowing evaluations twisted into failures with subjective slashes like lacks leadership presence or not a team player. She photographs each page with quick, steady hands. The door slams. Patricia stands in the doorway, eyes narrowing, lips curling. "What exactly are you doing?" Elsa gestures calmly to the bin. "Your trash needed emptying, ma'am, but the bag is already fresh." Patricia's voice turns to ice. I knew something was off. Too polished, too educated for a cleaner. "Tell me, are you spying for Johnson Enterprises? Corporate espionage is a crime?" Elsa forces her heartbeat to slow. "I'm just doing my job, ma'am." Patricia prowls forward, rifling through the cleaning cart with surgical precision. "Nothing. I'm watching you. One wrong step, and you're finished." She thrusts out her hand. "Your phone." Sai hands it over without hesitations. Scrubbed clean. Evidence already uploaded to secure cloud storage. Before Patricia can press further, Thomas appears in the doorway like a lifeline. "Patricia, sorry to interrupt, but I need your input on tomorrow's presentation deck." Patricia's irritation flickers, but she turns, distracted. Elsa slips out with her cart, masking the surge of relief behind her steady pace. Later in the server room, Thomas finds her. His voice low, urgent. "Patricia's convinced you're spying for Johnson. She's ordered security to track you." Elsa checks her calendar. Day 24 of 30. Her phone buzzes with a message from her father. Acquisition meeting moved up. "I'm coming to Vertex tomorrow." The next morning, the building hums with anticipation. Marcus Johnson arrives like a storm in midnight blue, broad-shouldered, silver temples catching the sun. His security detail forms a wall around him. Dark suits, mirrored shades, earpieces glowing faintly in the Chicago light. Employees freeze mid-step, whispers trailing in his wake. Meanwhile, Elsa is already at work, dusting the main conference room with meticulous precision. With a fluid motion, she tucks a miniature recording device beneath the walnut table centerpiece. She tests it through a discreet earpiece while polishing a chair. Crystal clear. Downstairs, William Barnes greets Marcus in the lobby with a professional handshake, his smile tight. Patricia rushes forward in designer heels, diamond earrings flashing. Her smile beams bright, but her eyes stay razor sharp. "Mr. Johnson, what an honor. We've prepared everything for today's discussions." "I appreciate thoroughness," Marcus replies, his gaze sweeping the lobby. What catches his eye is not the polished steel or glass, but the sudden abundance of smiling faces of color and artificial showcase Elsa hasn't seen in her 3 weeks undercover. It's staged. Patricia choreographs his tour with flawless precision, highlighting innovation at every turn while blocking any chance of genuine contact. Each time Marcus drifts near diverse staff, Patricia cuts in redirecting questions, interrupting casual exchanges, sliding her body neatly between him and anyone who might speak the truth. During a facilities walkthrough, Marcus drops a quiet grenade. "Your SEC filings show turnover well above industry averages." "Any departments particularly affected?" Patricia doesn't flinch. "Talents in constant demand?" "We see it as validation of our training programs." Her tone glitters with corporate polish. But between meetings, her mask tightens. She corners Elsa in a side hallway, voice taut. "Stay away from the executive floor today. In fact, take the day off." "I need the hours, Miss Holden." Elsa protests softly, keeping her cover intact. "I have bills. Consider it paid leave," Patricia snaps, eyes darting toward the conference room where Marcus and William Barnes confer. Elsa doesn't leave. Instead, she transforms. In the locker room, she trades her cleaner's uniform for crisp black slacks and a blue blouse. Hair tied back, tablet in hand, she melts into the corporate seed, just another admin staffer moving with purpose. From glass-walled corridors, she observes the acquisition meetings. Through the reflections, Marcus spots her, but his face betrays nothing. Minutes later, Elsa's phone vibrates with an encrypted ping. "Need more definitive evidence. Holden is careful around me," she types back. "Ready for phase 2. Preparing final documentation." Meanwhile, Patricia's paranoia sharpens. In the security office, she reviews camera footage with the head of building security. "Show me every place this cleaner's been today." Her nails drum the desk, agitation barely contained. William appears in the doorway. "Patricia, we can't afford discrimination complaints during acquisition." Her control falters. "Those people always play the race card when they don't get their way. I'm protecting this company." William freezes, eyes narrowing. "Those people? What exactly do you mean by that?" Patricia stumbles through a flimsy explanation. William doesn't buy it. His expression hardens. Later, Thomas catches Elsa in the copy room. His voice is hushed. "Patricia's scheduled your termination meeting tomorrow morning. Claims breach of confidentiality." Elsa doesn't flinch. She simply pulls out her phone and types her last encrypted order. Phase 3. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp. The next morning, the glass-walled conference room feels like a stage. Patricia presides at the head, composed and venomous. William Barnes sits uneasily beside her, flanked by an HR rep clutching a termination folder. Security guard stands rigid by the door, arms folded. Outside in the hallway, Thomas pretends to shuffle paperwork, but his eyes never leave the scene. The trap is ready to spring. Elsa enters in her cleaner's uniform, posture unbent, dignity radiating despite the deliberately humiliating setting. She doesn't sit until Patricia gestures, a subtle game of control already in motion. Patricia dives in without pleasantries. "Lisa Jenkins, your performance has been substandard since day one. We also have reason to believe you've accessed confidential information beyond your clearance." Elsa's tone is measured, almost surgical. "May I ask what evidence you have of this?" Patricia slides forward a neatly clipped printout of cleaning schedules, tapping the highlighted sections with a manicured nail. "You were repeatedly spotted near executive offices during sensitive meetings. You were specifically ordered to avoid those areas." William shifts uncomfortably, breaking the tension. "Patricia, is this really necessary? She's just a cleaner." But Patricia plows ahead, producing another document like a weapon. "Furthermore, your application contained falsified information. Claimed a diploma from Springfield High, yet there's no record of any Elisa Jenkins graduating in those years." Elsa checks her watch. Then, calmly, she lifts her gaze and slices straight into Patricia's composure. "Before we continue, let me clarify something. Am I being terminated for performance issues? Or because of my race?" The question detonates like a flashbang. Patricia jerks back, face tightening. "How dare you? This has nothing to do with race. This is about competence, about honest qualities you clearly lack." Her voice rises, shrill with indignation. And then the conference room door opens. Silence swallows the air as Marcus Johnson strides in, commanding in his midnight blue suit. A woman in a tailored suit and leather portfolio at his side. Patricia's mask falters. "Mr. Johnson, we weren't expecting you until later. We're just handling an internal matter." Marcus doesn't even glance at her. He turns to Elsa instead. "Everything all right, sweetheart?" The color drains from Patricia's face as realization slams into her. Elsa stands slowly, removes the cleaner's badge from her chest, and pulls a sleek leather portfolio from her bag. "Yes, Dad, just finishing up here." The silence is suffocating. William Barnes nearly spills his coffee. The HR rep's mouth opens, shuts, then opens again like a stranded fish. Elsa straightens to her full executive stature, voice crisp, professional. "Allow me to introduce myself properly. Elsa Johnson, Harvard MBA, Chief Compliance Officer at Johnson Enterprises. For the past 26 days, I've been conducting an authorized workplace culture assessment as part of our due diligence process." Marcus steps forward, his presence heavy with corporate authority. "Before investing $300 million into this acquisition, we needed to know Vertex's true culture, not the sanitized reports." Elsa opens her laptop and pivots the screen toward the table. Meticulous spreadsheets glow across the display rows of timestamps, incident categories, witness lists. "We've documented 47 instances of racial discrimination. It's primarily directed by Ms. Holden, impacting 12 employees across multiple departments." Patricia tries to cut in. It's preposterous. Marcus raises a single hand. She falls silent. His voice booms with the weight of boardrooms and decades of power. The evidence includes discriminatory hiring, blocked promotions, targeted harassment, and creation of a hostile workplace, all prohibited under federal law. And it was gathered legally through direct observation. William scrolls through the damning files, recordings, photos, signed statements, HR cover-ups. His face goes pale. Patricia, is this true? Patricia's mask cracks, anger spilling through. This is entrapment, corporate espionage dressed up as some social justice crusade. Elsa's reply is precise, almost surgical. Actually, it's called testing, fully legal under federal civil rights law and admissible in court. She clicks to another document. Vertex is currently fulfilling 3 federal contracts. All require strict compliance with anti-discrimination regulations. This evidence places those contracts and your company's future at serious risk. The door opens again. Thomas enters, a USB drive pinched between his fingers like a weapon. I have additional documentation of similar incidents spanning 3 years, he says, placing it deliberately on the table. Patterns of discrimination I witnessed firsthand. Elsa nods toward him, steady and commanding. Your courage is noted, Mr. Chen. I'll be recommending you for a position in our compliance division. William Barnes exhales, shoulders heavy with realization. His voice comes low, almost broken. What do you want? Marcus places 2 thick document folders on the table with finality. Option 1. We proceed with acquisition. But leadership is restructured and comprehensive anti-discrimination protocols are implemented immediately. Option 2. We forward this evidence directly to the EEOC and federal contract compliance programs. Patricia snaps. She lunges across the polished table, manicured hands clawing toward Eels's laptop. You self-righteous security reacts instantly, but not before Patricia slams several keys. Delete, delete, she shrieks as she's yanked back by the guard. You'll never prove anything without evidence. Elsa closes the laptop slowly, lips curving in the faintest smile. The file you deleted was a decoy. All evidence exists in multiple secure locations. 4 hours later, Vertex's executive boardroom is unrecognizable, transformed into a war bunker. Jackets hang loose, ties undone, coffee cups litter the table. William Barnes sits at the head, stripped of his usual polish, while Marcus Johnson reviews documents with the calm precision of a surgeon. Elsa commands the digital display, evidence files flickering across the wall with devastating clarity. Patricia Holden is going to march out of the building, credentials confiscated, security badges revoked. An older board member, rigid with military posture, clears his throat. This seems excessive. Patricia's been with Vertex for 12 years. Elsa advances a slide, her voice sharp as steel. A bar graph spikes red against the screen. In those 12 years, 87% of employees of color either resigned or were terminated within their first year. Compare that to 24% of white employees. These aren't coincidences. They're systemic patterns of exclusion. William Barnes, jaw set, faces his board directly. We have irrefutable proof of systemic discrimination within operations. We either confront it or we collapse under it. The company's legal counsel, a silver-haired woman with eyes like scalpels, scans the reports. The liability exposure is enormous. We're talking potential class action suits, violations of federal contracts, catastrophic reputation damage. Marcus remains calm, his voice carrying weight. Johnson Enterprises still sees value in Vertex's technology and most of its people. Our offer stands, but with new, non-negotiable conditions. Crosstown, Patricia Holden paces her home office like a caged animal, phone pressed to her ear. Richard, I need your help. You're trying to destroy my career over oversensitivity politics. Her husband, Judge Richard Holden, doesn't flinch as he scrolls through the files Elsa sent directly to his judicial email. Patricia, do you realize this could wreck my career too? What were you thinking saying things like this on company record? Was taken out of context? Patricia snaps, desperation cracking her voice. That cleaner wasn't even a real cleaner. Shay was spying on me. Back at Vertex, Elsa presents a 3-phase remediation plan like a general unveiling a battle map. Phase 1. Immediate leadership purges and an external audit of all HR practices. Every promotion, every denial, Every firing and disciplinary action from the past 5 years reviewed by independent counsel. Phase 2. Direct compensation for victims. Restitution packages, reinstatement opportunities for those unfairly stripped of careers. A board member sputters. This will cost millions. Elsa cuts him off clean. Discrimination already cost you millions in lost talent, in broken innovation, in buried potential. Phase 3. A cultural restructuring. Anonymous reporting systems, transparent audits, regular accountability reviews. The board votes, unanimous. Patricia Holden is permanently terminated. All prior discrimination claims will be externally investigated. William Barnes turns to Marcus when it's done, eyes heavy. I should have stopped this long ago. I failed as CEO. I let this culture rot under me. Elsa answers without pity, but without cruelty. Recognition is the first step. What matters is what you build now. HR begins combing through every name Patricia ever blocked. Legal drafts restitution offers. PR works on a transparency statement. James, the overlooked IT specialist, sits stunned across from William S.'s desk, as he saw for the senior position he should have had 6 months ago. I almost gave up, he admits quietly. Started thinking maybe I really wasn't good enough. Elsa doesn't miss a beat. That was the design. Discrimination works best when its victims believe the lie. Patricia's phone buzzes. Formal termination notice for cause. No severance. Stock options worth $1.2 million gone. Her home office becomes a command center of frantic calls. But every line is the same. Colleagues avoiding, contacts refusing, doors slamming shut. The empire she thought was untouchable is collapsing brick by brick. The Department of Labor reviews Vertex case files, flagging them as a potential template for nationwide enforcement against corporate discrimination. Federal contracting officers highlight Vertex's remediation strategy as a model response to compliance failures. Patricia, clinging to her crumbling empire, files suit. At the preliminary hearing, the judge stone-faced reviews the evidence and swiftly denies her injunction against termination. The ruling is scathing. The documented pattern of behavior constitutes clear cause for dismissal under both company policy and applicable employment law. Patricia's husband does not attend, nor does he appear at the press conference she calls outside the courthouse, where flashing cameras catch her hollow smile and trembling hands. Back at Vertex, security escorts her through the building as she clears her office. On her polished desk lies a single note, handwritten, anonymous. This isn't over. See you in court. 3 weeks later, Patricia Holden sits at the defendant's table in Vertex's largest conference room, now reconfigured into a tribunal chamber. The once celebrated executive is rigid, her tailored suit immaculate, but the illusion of power frays at the edges. Her attorney is not the prestigious firm she first retained, but a nervous younger lawyer stacking documents with fidgeting fingers. Across the room, representatives from both Vertex and Johnson Enterprises review evidence with steady calm. Department of Labor officials sit in reserved seating, their expressions carefully neutral, pens poised to record every word. The hearing officer, a retired federal judge, renowned for employment law, calls the proceedings to order. This administrative hearing will determine whether termination for cause was justified under company policy and applicable regulations. Patricia adjusts her suit jacket armor meant to project strength, though it now feels like a costume. Her mask of confidence slips the moment Elsa enters the room, carrying another portfolio of damning documentation. Patricia's lawyer launches into his opening statement. Ms. Holden maintained high-performance standards consistently applied to all employees, regardless of background. This investigation represents political correctness, gone mad sacrificing meritocracy for social engineering. Patricia nods vigorously, pleased with the framing. The attorney presses on. Furthermore, the so-called evidence was gathered through deception by corporate spies with a clear agenda to devalue Vertex before acquisition. The hearing officer turns calmly to Elsa. Please present your evidence. Elsa moves with surgical precision, activating the room's display. The investigation documented 73 incidents of discriminatory behavior over 26 days. She begins, her voice cutting through the air like a blade. Charts, timelines, and voice recordings illuminate the screen. We categorize these by type: biased hiring practices, promotion denials, disparate discipline, and hostile commentary. Then the recordings play. Patricia's voice fills the room. We're not hiring them because they're qualified. It's all quotas now. Patricia jolts upright. That's taken out of context. She protests until her attorney presses a warning hand on her arm. She advances to statistical analysis. Under Ms. Holden's leadership, 87% of employees of color either resigned or were terminated within 1 year, compared to 24% of white employees. Witnesses testify. A black receptionist describes being denied promotion 6 times despite meeting qualifications. Ms. Holden told me I didn't have the professional presence for client-facing roles. When I asked what that meant, she suggested speech therapy to neutralize my accent. I was born and raised in Connecticut. Patricia squirms, but the flood doesn't stop. Her attorney attempts cross-examination, reframing decisions as performance-based. Elsa counters cleanly. If these were performance issues, why do metrics contradict termination rationale? In 64% of cases involving employees of color, the pressure mounts. Patricia cracks. You don't understand corporate realities. She snaps at a former HR manager testifying. Some people just aren't executive material, no matter their resume. That's not racism, it's reality. The Department of Labor official scribbles furiously. Patricia's attorney pales. Then comes the killing blow. Elsa presents Patricia's own emails and messages explicit racial slurs. Discriminatory directives, direct orders to purge minority staff, find a reason to let Johnson go, one email reads. We don't need his kind here. Patricia's face drains white. Those were private communications never meant for. The hearing officer slams the gavel. Private bias expressed in official company correspondence is absolutely relevant. The conclusion is swift and devastating. Termination upheld, stock options forfeited, severance revoked, mandatory company-wide disclosure of findings. Within hours, Patricia's husband issues a statement. The views expressed by my wife do not reflect my personal or professional values as a judge committed to equal justice under law. Former colleagues scurry to distance themselves. She was just an acquaintance, one insists to reporters. Even the law firm where her husband is a partner launches an internal review of all his past discrimination cases, fearing contamination. The evening news runs a merciless headline across the screen. Vertex executive Patricia Holden fired for systemic racism. Husband distances as career collapses. Executive fired after undercover investigation reveals years of workplace discrimination. The headline blazes across the morning paper and national news tickers. The article is merciless, detailing Patricia Holden, a systematic dismantling of minority careers, complete with testimonies from former staff now emboldened to speak publicly. Words like toxic culture, weaponized bias, and pattern of abuse dominate the coverage. As Patricia exits the hearing, paparazzi lights sting her eyes. She brushes past Elsa in the hallway and leans close, voice dripping venom. People like you always get ahead by playing the victim. Shh. Elsa meets her gaze without flinching, lips curving into a poised smile. Actually, she replies softly, I got ahead through Harvard Business School and exposing corporate misconduct. 6 months later, the grand ballroom of Chicago's Riverside Hotel thrums with anticipation. Chandeliers glitter above an audience of executives, regulators, and policymakers. On the colossal lead backdrop, the Vertex logo shines, now rebranded as Vertex, a Johnson Enterprises division. At center stage, Elsa Johnson walks to the podium. The plain gray cleaner's uniform is long gone, replaced by a tailored navy suit, understated jewelry, and a confidence honed through fire. The applause quiets as she begins. Transformation isn't just about removing a bad actor, Elsa says, voice commanding the cavernous room. It requires dissecting the systems that allow discrimination to thrive unchecked, hidden beneath the veneer of neutrality. Behind her, slides animate the Vertex case study, exposing how bias seeped into hiring, promotions, and evaluations. Elsa reveals the reforms with surgical clarity. Step 1. Blind resume screening, removing names and demographic cues until qualifications are fully assessed. Step 2. Structured interviews identical across candidates, evaluated by diverse panels with equal voting weight. The room murmurs approval. William Barnes, now humbled and leading the Vertex division, joins her on stage. As CEO, I was complicit through silence, he admits. Neutrality is not leadership. Inclusion requires active defense. Candor draws nods from regulators and applause from staff watching via livestream. Thomas Chen follows, presenting the hard data. Our most diverse teams now outperform homogeneous ones by 43% in innovation metrics and customer satisfaction. Inclusive practices aren't charity. They are competitive advantage. Spotlights turn to employees once suppressed, now flourishing. James, the IT specialist, once dismissed as not executive material, leads a cutting-edge cybersecurity team. His breakthrough protocol drawing government praise. Elsa demonstrates the new anonymous reporting system, showing real-time dashboards of culture audits across Johnson Enterprises. Equity isn't a one-time initiative, she emphasizes. It's a continuous discipline of measurement, accountability, and adjustment. The symposium reverberates across the industry. CTO Monthly features Elsa on its cover, branding the Johnson Vertex model as the blueprint for corporate transformation. Competitors scramble to announce audits of their own. One CEO admits during the Q&A, top talent will not tolerate exclusion anymore. The market itself is forcing us to evolve. Department of Labor officials nod as they outline how the Vertex case has already shaped new compliance guidelines for federal contractors. This proved the necessity of proactive testing, not just reactive complaints. One official explains, It's a paradigm shift in enforcement. The applause that follows isn't just polite, it feels like a cultural turning point. Elsa steps back from the podium, scanning the room, and knows this moment marks something bigger than her family's acquisition. It's the start of a new standard. The compliance director remarks with quiet pride. As attendees mingled during the closing reception, the conversations sound different this time, less like damage control, more like genuine commitment to systemic change. HR executives swap implementation strategies. Diversity officers compare measurement methodologies. CEOs debate accountability frameworks. As the symposium winds down, Elsa glances at her phone. Patricia has filed a $20 million lawsuit for defamation and wrongful termination. 1 year after the acquisition, Elsa and Marcus Johnson share a private dinner at the family estate. Floor 2 ceiling windows framing Chicago's glittering skyline. The Vertex Technologies Tower, rebranded under the Johnson Enterprises logo, glows among the city's icons. Vertex division exceeded projections by 23% after restructuring, Marcus notes, scrolling through quarterly reports on his tablet. Turns out eliminating discrimination is good for business. His tone holds satisfaction deeper than numbers just as quantified. Elsa sips her wine, eyes thoughtful. How's Gloria's team? Exceptional, Marcus replies. She's revolutionized facilities management. 3 cleaners now pursuing degrees on our education benefits. Thomas, thriving as senior VP, his security protocols just landed that long-sought government contract. Smiles, pride tempered by responsibility. And the others, the ones Patricia tried to erase? Marcus sets his tablet aside, voice softening. Maria leads our most innovative dev team. Maria came back to run marketing. Those who moved on? We restored their records with accurate recommendations. Their careers continue without the weight of Patricia's sabotage. Marcus smiles faintly. The Vertex case study is taught in 3 business schools now. Harvard Business Review published your methodology. Fortune 500s are replicating your undercover compliance model. Even the Department of Labor embedded your approach in their new guidelines. Elsa, this is legacy, the Johnson legacy. Building businesses that value people. The next morning, Elsa tours the transformed Vertex offices. The executive floor, once a temple to exclusion, now showcases photographs of diverse teams celebrating breakthroughs. Meeting rooms bear names of global innovators rather than sterile numbers. She pauses in the cleaning staff break room. Once barren, it now matches executive lounges, comfortable seating, quality machines, schedules designed for education and advancement. Gloria greets her warmly. "Look what you started," she says, pointing to a bulletin board filled with training and certification opportunities. An older cleaner places fresh flowers in a vase. "You saw us when we were invisible," he murmurs. Changed everything." Later, in her office overlooking the Chicago River, Elsa finalizes her compliance report. On the final slide, 2 images side by side: her grandmother at a 1965 civil rights march and a news clipping of the Vertex case. Beneath them, her handwritten note: "Discrimination thrives in shadows. The most powerful act is bringing it into light. One person with evidence can transform a system." She closes her laptop, reflecting not on power gained, but on justice restored. Careers rebuilt, dignity affirmed, opportunities opened. "Justice doesn't just happen," she whispers, echoing her grandmother's voice across generations. "It's built by those brave enough to expose truth." This is Fate, tales where truth prevails and justice is served. They say it's just how the world works. We say change it. Subscribe if you're tired of the same excuses and different uniforms. Fate Tales, where justice always finds its match.